You know what pop culture's like to the English. It comes off the street.
Camera's rolling, and...
A gang of kids form a band and are utterly in the moment.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. If you're a regular here at the blog, you'll know that I am something of a fan of rock documentaries, or rockumentaries, if you will. And I've always said that the mark of a really great rockumentary is that it makes you interested in the story of a band whose music you never particularly liked. I'll give you an example. I'm a huge fan of Julian Temple's Oil City Confidential. It's a wonderful film, and a lot of people said, well, of course you liked it because you're a big Dr. Feelgood fan. Dr. Feelgood was one of the first bands I saw playing live. I saw them at Hammersmith Odeon, and I love their music, so I was automatically kind of predisposed to like the film, but I think that Julian Temple did something really special with that film. But what about Anvil, the story of Anvil? I can't imagine ever buying or listening to one of their records, but I absolutely love that movie. Or The Devil and Daniel Johnston. Again, not a fan of the music, but that story was as gripping and engrossing and as inventive as any drama. So, into the fray now comes a new film called Soul Boys of the Western World, which is just about to come out on DVD. And I advise you to check it out, even if you, like me, are not a fan of Spandau Ballet.
You're the first band to incorporate fashion, music, and video. How did this come about?
You just got to have the feeling in there of style.
This is Tony.
John. Dave.
I'm Martin. I'm Gary, and we're Spandau Ballet.
Will you welcome on stage Spandau Ballet?
Now, Spandau Ballet were a band that arrived at the wrong time for me. I kind of grew up through punk, and to me, I never really understood the thing about dressing up with a tea towel over your shoulder and wearing a kilt. The new romantic movement just looked a bit foolish to me. I always thought that Gary Kemp was an interesting songwriter, and I admire him greatly, but I never bought the records, I never wore the clothes, and I certainly never bought into the hairstyles. But what the film manages to do is to take that story and make you care about it. Now, one thing it has in its favour is there is a huge amount of archive footage. Because so much of the band was about image, they were filming themselves from a very, very early stage, so there is a wealth of archive footage showing what they looked like in the very early days. There's a wonderful television show introduced by an incredibly young Danny Baker, catching the band just before they hit big-time stardom. And, of course, I'm kind of impressed by how big they became and how spectacularly they fell out. You know, of course, that they ended up in court over disagreements about who should get royalties for the songs. Well, all of this is covered thoroughly in the documentary, and I found myself gripped from beginning to end. Why? Well, because, like Oil City Confidential, it is a film first and a film about Spandau Ballet second. It's a film that understands narrative, that understands engaging the audience, that understands showing you characters that you want to share a journey with, and you're concerned about the outcome of their adventures. Also, during the course of the movie, I realised that I liked some of those Spandau Ballet songs more than I had expected.
Any idea of this if you're related?
No. Would you be related to each other? I wouldn't be related to him. I'm not related to him.
Long
years of living with each other.
Well, these guys talk funny, huh?